Hey, this is Dr. Berry. Let's talk for just a few minutes about why it seems like that some of us are addicted to overly processed foods. The foods you buy in cardboard boxes, in plastic bags, the foods you get after you speak into the microphone from the window of the drive-through restaurant. Why does it feel like these foods are habit forming? There's a reason for that, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Now, if you know someone who can't give up their bread, can't give up their dessert, their pizza, their honey buns, their crackers, there's a reason for that. And they need to know about the reason because that's one of the very first steps in breaking this addictive cycle. So please consider sharing this video on your Facebook page, on your Twitter, on your Instagram. Heck, send them a text message, write them a letter and put a stamp on it. But help people understand that, yeah, these foods do give you addictive feelings, and sometimes that's very, very hard to break. And I want to go into detail today about why exactly that is. Okay. Now, first, let me tell you a story. Everybody's heard of crack cocaine and cocaine, and these very, very addictive substances come from a plant that grows in South America. And for generations, the people who live there have been chewing the leaves of this plant. The leaves aren't processed, they're in their raw form. And when you chew these leaves, you have to do the chewing and swallowing and digesting. You get a little bit of not even a buzz. You feel better. It's like a cup of coffee for them. You get a little bump in your mood, in your energy level, and you feel better. But when you take these same leaves and you ultra process them, you wind up with something called crack cocaine, which you may have heard of as one of the most addictive substances on the planet. And the reason that it's so much more habit forming than these leaves is because all of this processing has basically taken all of the work out of getting the active substance out of the leaves, and it's concentrated the substances thousands and thousands of times. And so there are people who have been chewing coca leaves in South America their entire life, and they could walk away from it tomorrow with maybe a day or two of a headache, just as like if you walked away from coffee. You might have a day or two of a headache, but it wouldn't be a big deal at all. But after somebody's been smoking crack cocaine for a while, it's definitely rehab, and then sometimes even that doesn't do the trick. So it's the difference between the processing and it occurring in its natural form. This same sort of thing occurs with ultra processed food, and that's what we're going to talk about. So there's really three chemicals in your brain that the cocaine and that processed food, they act on the same pathway. And I'm actually going to put a link below to a study in which they got rats addicted to sugar water or cocaine, and the rats preferred the sugar water over the cocaine. That's how habit forming the ultra sweet sugar water was to the rats, as they would ignore the cocaine and they would even endure a little electrical shock to get the sugar water. And so if somebody says, oh, sugar is not really habit forming, or processed grains are not really habit forming, they're full of crap. They absolutely are. And here's why. The three things we're going to talk about are, number one, endorphins. You may have heard of these. Anything that's pleasurable is going to release endorphins. It makes you happy. They make you feel good. They can even help relieve pain. That's why pain medicines work. That's why a hug from your mom makes you feel better. That's why for some people, peanut butter and jelly sandwich or a bowl of cereal with skim milk makes them feel better, is because it releases endorphins. The cocaine releases endorphins exactly the same way as the processed crap does. There's no difference in the biochemistry of this in your brain. The second thing is dopamine. Crack cocaine has the same exact effect on your dopamine levels as eating some ultra processed garbage. It may be a more severe effect, but it's the same exact effect. Okay. Then the third thing is serotonin levels in your brain. They're affected exactly the same way by smoking crack as they are by eating processed garbage. Okay. There's no difference in how they act. Maybe the intensity of the reaction is different, but the reaction itself is exactly the same. Endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin are also intimately related to becoming addicted to something. If something moves your endorphins, your dopamine, and your serotonin in the right direction, you're more likely to want that again in the future. And you can quickly set up an addictive cycle with whatever the substance is, right? Whether it be cigarettes, whether it be garbage, whether it be cocaine. you'll set up an addictive cycle where over and over, you're just like the rats pushing the lever to get the thing that you're addicted to. It's time for you to break that cycle, and this information is going to help you do that, okay? So it's the same way with processed garbage, with bread, with honey buns, with crackers. All that stuff is basically the same three ingredients, okay? It's wheat that's been ultra processed, it's sugar that's been ultra processed, and it's vegetable oils that have been ultra processed. All three have been ultra processed and then combined, so it's really like three drugs in one. And so it's not really surprising that people get addicted to these things, okay? And so everybody knows that honey buns are bad for you. Nobody has a question about that. It's obvious. So honey buns contain wheat, sugar, and vegetable oils. That's what they contain, okay? Now, less people would say, well, crackers, they're not that bad for you. No, exactly. Actually, these are the same. This contains sugar, processed wheat, and vegetable oils. They're the same thing, just with a little salt here and a little more sugar there. What about a pizza? A pizza, that's not terrible, right? The crust of the pizza is made of the exact same three ingredients as the other two, okay? Everybody knows that white bread's probably not the best thing for you. White bread it's made of processed grain, vegetable oils, and sugar. And so, but now everybody knows that whole wheat bread is good for you, right? Because it contains processed wheat, vegetable oils, and sugar. So here's the message. Here's what you need to take away. Here's what you need to share with your mama or your next door neighbor. This is the same exact thing as this. These are the same. There's no difference, okay? This can be habit forming. This can be habit forming. All of these things are made of the same three ingredients with just a little variation for taste. That's it. And so 200 years ago, when somebody stone ground some wheat and put some lard with it and cooked that and made the hard bread of years past, that was hard to eat. And the stone ground wheat was not completely processed. And then the lard slowed down the your absorption and the conversion into sugars. And so it wasn't as bad. It wasn't nearly as habit forming. It was kind of like those coca leaves down in South America. You can chew those and it's not a big deal. You don't have to go to rehab if you chew some coca leaves. But when you eat this kind of crap or this kind of crap, you're addicted, okay? They have three ultra processed ingredients, all of which act on your endorphins, your dopamine, and your serotonin levels. And so whether you're eating bread or pizza or crackers, you're eating the same product, okay? And the reason big food makes so many different products out of the same three ingredients is because they get them basically free because of all the government subsidies to grow these crops, okay? So if you're addicted to these, first thing you got to do is admit it. Yep, I got a problem. I got a problem with bread. I got a problem with honey buns, crackers, pizza, whatever. You've got to recognize these things work on the same three chemicals in your brain as crack cocaine does. Okay, they may not be as severe an addiction, but for some people, it's pretty bad. Okay, and so if you're addicted to any of these products, you have to realize it's the same three ingredients, and you got to start taking steps to get these out of your kitchen, out of your fridge, out of your mouth, and out of your life. Okay, now if you enjoyed this video, please click that subscribe button and click the little bell notification button. So every time I get a bright idea, you'll be one of the very first people to know. If some of my videos have helped your health in some small way, please consider clicking on the Patreon link down below and signing up. It's very quick. You can throw a buck or two my way so I can have more time to make more videos like this. Also now, if you're on Facebook, you can sign up as a Facebook supporter. It's a little monthly fee. It's not bad, and it helps us have more time to make videos like this for you. I love doing this. I want to keep doing it forever, and I want to literally stamp out the epidemics of obesity and insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes in America and in the world, and I feel like these videos are the way to do it. So if you enjoy what I do, please subscribe and help us out if you can. This is Dr. Berry. I'll see you next time.